on the Gophers Sports Network from Learfield. This is Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson. Now, here's the voice of the Gophers, Mike Grimm.
It's another edition of Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson, and a good Wednesday afternoon to you as we rock and roll coming off of a game last night in East Lansing, Michigan. The number 7 Spartans take it to the Gophers, a final 73-51. Justin Gard is traveling with the Gopher women today. They will play USC and UCLA over the next few days out in Los Angeles. So it's just me and the head coach. And, Coach, we always think these are the best shows anyway if we can, remove Guardsy from the equation.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah, addition by subtraction. There you go. There's times where you got to make a sub, and there's times where you got to make hard decisions, and it's fine that JG's not here. Not only that, not to defend himself, so we can talk all we want about it. All right, let's talk about this game last night in East Lansing. You guys are on a nice roll, had won 3 straight, obviously feeling great about the way you guys had played. 2 ranked wins in there, 2 home wins over ranked teams, a nice road win at Iowa. And Michigan State was going to be a good opportunity for you to, maybe take another step forward. And the 7th-ranked Spartans had other ideas. It seemed early on they were ready to take the fight to you guys off the start. So kind of take me through. I know you've watched some of the films since, obviously, last night. What did you see as a key?
Yeah, I think the first thing was it was our group's first taste of going against an opponent that is really dialed in on you. And I told our guys, you beat 2 ranked opponents and you get a win on the road. Whoever you're playing next, they're going to be foaming at the mouth. I mean, they're going to be prepared, they're going to be ready, and they never take you lightly. And so it was kind of our first experience of like a wow moment of, okay, man, and they were on it. I thought the energy of the building was huge from the start. I thought just the physical play of Michigan State set the tone. Although it was kind of an ugly first half, we were in there till about the 2-minute mark when it was, I think we had them at 23. And then, Trey Holloman kind of went on a little run, and it opened it up to end the half. And that's kind of the hard part because it wasn't pretty on either side for the first, 18 minutes, and it was still manageable at that time with them stuck on 23. And it just, in those 2 minutes for him to go on that little spurt and give them momentum going into halftime, it just made it hard for us to claw our way back into the game. And, the disappointing part is, you're playing good basketball because I thought we were playing a physical style and we were kind of dictating and imposing our will. And, this game, for whatever reason, just from the start, we never got into a rhythm with physicality. We never got into a rhythm with just dictating whether it was offense or defense. And Michigan State did a good job of setting the rules for how it was going to be played.
Yeah, even that very first possession, right, they miss a couple of shots. They get offensive rebounds, and Lakai has 2 fouls in 40 seconds, and they have a couple offensive rebounds. You still get a stop. They don't score on that possession. But, that was kind of the way, at least in that first half, it went. They were a good rebounding team anyway, right there, +9. I think Tom Izzo's teams have always had that reputation. That said, in the last few years, they haven't been as good as I'm sure he wanted. But this team is one that is back in that old Tom Izzo mold of, we're going to punch you in the face, and they call a foul, and if not, we'll take the rebound and run.
Yeah, and, they got the bodies to do it. They've got a big front court, and they can just rotate those guys so they're fresh. Obviously, Cohen's a big wing when he gets in there, and they're able to just put constant pressure on you on the glass. And they've really gotten back to just kind of that old school way where their transition has been really good and their rebounding has been really good. And again, I think the depth does help with that because guys aren't playing crazy extended minutes, and so they're fresh and they know when they're in there they got to go 100 miles an hour, and they do their job. I think they got a good group of guys that does their job and does it really well.
And they're probably not all that concerned, at least early, with foul trouble, because if someone's in foul trouble, they got another guy or two that they just trot out there and continue to bang away. I'm going to ask you this in the post game last night after the game, and wanted to have you expand on it a little bit in terms of, and I'm not trying trying to stretch here to take a positive out of this game, but I think there are some positive things to do. And as a teacher and a coach here, are there some things, and you talked about it last night, that you can look at this and see the way Michigan State handled it, right? They're a seasoned team. They're used to playing in games like that, and say, because you talked about it after the Oregon game, act like a winner, play like a winner, do those things. And last night, it was apparent that culture prevailed for the night. So can you show film and say, here's the response I need from you guys on Saturday, just do what these guys did, or that kind of stuff?
No, 100%. I think it is all about response from here on out. And whether you win or whether you lose, how do you respond in the next game? And this one, obviously, the response is going to be a little bit different because you're coming from a loss versus a win. Whereas before, it was the expectation of, can you block out the noise when you're winning and be successful and respond positively? Whereas now, you got to regroup a little bit. So the response is going to be a little different. But that's the challenge, and that's what we'll definitely work on the rest of this week leading up to Saturday. Is the response has got to be the right one. There's got to be that urgency, and to use this as an example, I think is really good. Understanding what we just played in and just the effort that was there by that team, what that looks like, what that feels like, just the screens, the cutting, all that type of stuff, and learn from that.
Tom Izzo, in a little bit of the pregame chat, talked about how you have kind of got this team now playing much better than maybe when he saw you in December. And I know you guys had it looked like a fairly long chat. I know you guys are tight and you talk. I mean, you've known him since, 10th grade or so, 9th grade maybe. You don't have to share it, but what was it? What was were you satisfied with what he told you about your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously in league you watch guys and you watch teams a lot, and before the game he just kind of talked about just the growth that he's seen. We're one of the few teams that I think they've played twice already, so you can kind of see where a team was, and we played them obviously really early in the year, so you saw where we were then and where we are now, and just how we're just gelling better. And vice versa, we could talk about his team and just how they've been able to stay the course, which sometimes is a challenge within itself. And the response again is kind of what he talked about, is being able to, now that you've got the guy's attention, win or lose, how do you keep progressing and keep building? And then that is going to be a key part where you take a tough road loss. But you got still 10 games left in the season, and they can't snowball the other way now. And now with this new group, you're trying to make sure you find ways to keep them connected and keep them positive while also learning from past games, but knowing that you want it to snowball and trend in the right way. So how do you motivate them to make sure they remember the three before this one, and be able to apply those more. But the lessons that we learned in Michigan State, I do think down the road are going to be very valuable and hopefully can pay off starting Saturday.
And, we've talked about this really for several weeks in a row, about this league especially, and you can look around, a team wins one, they win two in a row. You guys have a 3-game win streak. I mean, you look, Nebraska had some early wins. They hit the skids, and they're hoping to get back. USC, all of a sudden, they win at Illinois. Illinois looked like maybe the best team in the country, 2.5 weeks ago when they hammered Oregon out there. And then Maryland just took it to them the other night, and we'll see how they respond. So as you mentioned, how do you make sure that one win turned into 2 wins and 3 wins? How do you make sure one loss now is ending at 1 loss and you get back into the win column? How do you handle that part of it with your team?
I think just getting back to the meat of it, showing a couple clips of things that, were self-induced, things that we can control, and understand our standards got to still be at a high level, even if you're playing the number 17 on the road. And getting them to see the self-inflicted wounds, whether it was a misplay or a missed screen or a bad shot or a soft turnover. Those are things that we can control. And the more they see that and realize that it's our doing sometimes, and if we tighten up what we're doing, especially at home, And, hopefully you can still put yourself in position to be successful. And then also being able to fall back and say, fellas, we've won 3 out of 4, and we've played, 3 ranked teams of those 4 games. And to have that perspective, too, where, the sky isn't necessarily falling if you learn from it, but also learn from the 3 games previous. And it goes back to your winner mindset. Winning people and winning teams are able to analyze it, but then also now kind of throw it out the window and regroup for the next game. They don't dwell on the one negative. And so that's going to be the challenge of, okay, we need to, again, figure out, talk about, discuss, fix, but at the same time have that short-term memory and also remember the 3 games that we played with confidence, that we played with physicality, that we played with precision, and have that, because that's more of who we were.
Yeah.
The one game we can say is, all right, that's the outlier in these last 4. Let's go back to those other 3.
But you mentioned some soft turnovers. I think if I have this right, you had 11 in the first half and 1 in the second half. What do you think was the problem there in the first half? And I guess, again, to pick maybe a positive, you're able to dial it in and not be so careless as a team.
Yeah, no, I think, again, just early, they just they jumped on us, and some of it was them, and some of it was us just in the moment just didn't handle it well, didn't handle their physicality, didn't handle their pressure. They kind of got us out of sorts. We never got into a rhythm at all, just offensively. And when you don't do that, you end up playing on your heels and you make those casual soft turnovers. So it's the careless skip pass. It's the simple drive that you take for granted and then boom, slap down, steal. We had a couple shots that I thought were just rushed out of character and they sped us up. And so that's how you get those 11 turnovers. Michigan State was turned up and they played that way, and they again took charge and made offense really difficult. We didn't help ourselves either by kind of feeding into that and playing sped up and playing a little bit soft.
Looked too like there maybe were a couple of possessions where guys got into the paint and were about to shoot, and then teammates were starting to crash, and then throws were made by them. I know there was at least 2 or 3 of those. Parker had one, I think, and maybe Lakai or somebody was trying to find Dawson, who was coming to crash the glass. Would you prefer, hey, while you're there, you've got your man beat, just take the shot? Dawson had a good putback. He got a shot blocked aggressive, and then got it right back and put it in. That fine line between, well, I don't want to go up and get my shot blocked, so I'm going to throw it, or just take it at, draw the foul, maybe get an and one, whatever.
Yeah, I think, block shots sometimes can be overrated. You got to be able to, especially if you're at the rim point blank, put a shoulder on a chest and get to the rim, and, if you put shoulder on chest, maybe they call the foul. If you take it strong, maybe they call the foul. But, we can't bail out of point blank type looks.
Right.
And it's everybody. It's, when you drive it, I want guys to drive it for a purpose, drive it with confidence. The only reason you pass is if, the read is where guys rotate and they take that away to you. It's an obvious look. And, I think sometimes you can overpass a little bit, or you try to get a little too cute instead of just taking what the defense gives you, and keep it simple. Again, I don't get caught up in block shots. I want guys to be physical, take it strong, get right to the rim. But those point blank ones, I do want to be just a little bit more selfish with looking to score those, unless there's an obvious dump down. And then when you go make the pass, again, we were out of sorts. If a guy was 3 feet away, we threw it an 80-mile-an-hour fastball. Or if he was across the court, we threw it too far right or too far left or too high. We were not in sync from the start, and it just trickled to almost every single thing. There's a couple instances where we just weren't organized offensively in what we were running and just being on the same page. And again, it was a collective 20 minutes of kind of mistaken identity. And that's the part you want to find the answer to, figure it out, and then be able to flush it.
All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back. We'll have more with Ben Johnson. Stay with us. Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson from Learfield.
Dear winner, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Do you know how plastic bottles become shirts, shoes, or backpacks? What happens when your recyclables leave your curb? Can they really become something new? Visit WM.com to learn how WM helps turn your plastic bottles into everyday products, giving materials a second life. WM has the recycling infrastructure, innovation, and expertise to serve our Twin Cities community and care for our planet. The recycling process starts and ends with you. Visit WM.com to learn more.
You want the best for your child. So does M Health Fairview Masonic Children's Hospital. As the Twin Cities' longest-running, top-ranked children's hospital, many of the world's leading medical experts just happen to come with the most caring hearts. This combination of compassion and expertise is why Masonic Children's Hospital was once again recognized as the Twin Cities' top-ranked children's hospital by U.S. News and World Report. World-class, kid-focused care is available for all. Learn more at mhealthfairviewpeds.org.
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at TicketKingOnline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
U of M looks good on you. Shop the largest selection of University of Minnesota clothing, accessories, and gifts at the University of Minnesota bookstores. Love to read? Check out their huge selection of books. Want competitive pricing on the latest technology, tech accessories, services, and repairs? U of M Bookstores has that too. Visit the U of M bookstores in Kaufman Memorial Union, the St. Paul Student Center, game day kiosks, or online at bookstores.umn.edu. You can guarantee yourself a Minnesota maroon and gold win when you sell your business with Sunbelt Business Advisors. Sunbelt is a local alumni-owned company and proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics. Sunbelt provides business owner brokerage services to small businesses as well as mergers and acquisition services for companies up to $150 million in revenue. Are you thinking about selling? Sunbelt can help you make the most from your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com for a free confidential value range. Minnesota's largest seller of companies. sunbeltminnesota.com.
How much can you save when you shop Cub? Let's just say you might need a bigger cart. We've lowered prices so you save more. On Essential every day, it's easy to see the savings. Across the aisles, from pantry products to frozen foods to delicious dairy and more. Your family will love it, guaranteed, or your money back. Shop Cub and save today. My Cub, my way. See store for details.
The University of Minnesota teams and traditions are legendary. Our team at Strategic Wealth Designers are proud to be a partner of Minnesota Athletics. What an honor to be working together. When you're ready to discuss your financial future, call the team the Golden Gophers Trust. We look forward to creating your winning strategy for retirement. Visit us at swdgroup.com today and go Gophers.
Playing the Minnesota Lottery is exciting, so here to tell you all about it is me. And to make it more exciting, I'll be using my movie trailer voice. In a world where we all crave more play in our day, one woman's journey leads her to the convenience store. Coming this year, scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. And you're going to want to play because anything can happen when you say, I'm in. Must be 18 or older to play.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go feel like a breeze in the new Ford Explorer. Make tough tasks look easy with the powerful performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years. Or take your adventures in the great outdoors to a whole new level with our built wild family of Ford Broncos. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting for you at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today, based on calendar year total sales.
Welcome back. More Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson. Mike Grimm with you here on this Wednesday. Glad you're with us. Hey, Gopher fans, visit the University of Minnesota bookstore. There you can discover the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel and novelties for fans of all ages, from the latest fashions to traditional favorites. It's the University of Minnesota bookstore, your one-stop shop. And don't forget, every week we're giving away, picking a winner of a $25 gift card to a special listener here from the University of Minnesota bookstore. Visit the sign up to win page at gophersports.com, visiting gophersports.com/U of M bookstores to enter. Our thanks to the bookstore for their sponsorship of the show. One of the things, Coach, you've been talking about, if you look at the schedule, and with the 18-team schedule, you play everybody just once and then 3 teams twice. This was your first 2 play. It was Michigan State's first 2 play as well. And so some of it is very schedule dependent. You look at the standings, you guys have played the top half, basically, right? And I know you've mentioned this a couple of times. It is not now going to get any harder from here. Like the game last night, probably you won't face an environment quite like that. You won't face a team maybe. I mean, there's some other teams very good in this league, and nothing's easy, right? That isn't to suggest that, well, we've seen the toughest part. We should roll off a whole bunch of wins without even trying. I mean, obviously you got to do that. But what's a message to the team now through one half of the season, knowing the toughest part of the schedule? Every team that's in the top half of the league is basically who you play.
Well, and that's why I made the point that I made about it's not going to necessarily get harder. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy by any means. But, I think our guys have been tested early by some really good teams at home and on the road. And they need to be hardened by that, and they need to gain confidence by that. And I think you can definitely spin that into a good trajectory for hopefully the second half, if we can bottle up all 10 games that we experienced in the first half of the season. And again, I just think there should be confidence sometimes in going through the storm. And if you can survive the storm and you can go through it, scathed, but also ability to learn from those things, then I think it bodes well for the rest of the year. And progressively we were able to go through that stretch and continue to get better. And I think that's a big thing, where our habits developed and our habits gotten better. And if you can do that when it's not easy and it's tough, I think that bodes well for the rest of the year. And that's why the way I want the guys to look at it is that you want to be tested and you want to see what you got, and you want to be able to learn and grow from it.
Yeah, because as part of that tough schedule, there's a bit of catch-up now, but there's some available opportunities to catch up and get to where you want to be, it looks like.
One, I think it's going to prepare you for the stuff that you're going to face these back 10 games. Playing at a Michigan State, at an Indiana, playing, Oregon, playing Iowa in their style. Every single team we've played will prepare us for these final 10 games. Every environment we've been in. It's not like we're going to go somewhere it's going to be way different or better than Indiana and Michigan State. Right? It's not. So you've experienced that already. You can check that off the box. All of those things with these teams, I want with our team, I want them to realize that. And anytime we can find a way to pull confidence from some sort of situation and look at things from a different lens or maybe a different perspective to give them a new perspective, we want to try to do that.
Now you think about Indiana, Michigan State, like last night, Michigan State at home, but the road, I mean, if you were going to stack up road games in terms of what the hardest road games are, Illinois and Purdue is probably in that mix. You don't go there, right? I mean, not to say going somewhere else is going to be easy, but you have opportunities at home with those teams, and there's potential strength ahead.
Well, and the other thing too, again, the lesson of playing a team like Michigan State, their caliber, that type of culture, the 7th best team in the country at home against a Hall of Fame coach. Not like there's going to be a team that's going to be more amped or more prepared to play a team that just won, against 2 ranked teams. And so that's an experience in itself, because I expect us to continue to play well and win. And so now the next time we get on a roll, hopefully, they'll understand you got to be the hungry dog. And whoever we end up playing after we win a couple here, that's not going to be a new thing we got to talk about. They're going to know, right? You're exactly right. Remember what happened at Michigan State. We got to come out with more urgency the more you win, because everybody else is going to be on one that much more. You're not getting the free pass. And I think that's a good lesson to have. But you got to go through it sometimes.
Right.
And, again, there's no harder environment than the Michigan State one. And so I think that's a good thing. But just being able to see what a top 7 program looks like, feels like, that's a positive thing. We can draw from that.
Dawson Garcia is the reigning Big Ten Player of the Week. Won it this week, coming off of the game at Iowa and the game at home against Oregon. He's put together now with last night's 21-point game 6 straight games of 20-plus points. We're trying to still determine when the last time that was. Last time it was 5. It was with Amir Coffey. So you got to go back in the record books a little ways. Certainly, we think it's happened sometime with some of the great players that have played in the program, but it's been a while. So I asked you this in the pregame last night as well. I mean, he's given you everything and then some right now.
Yeah, no, he's been a warrior, and I think we've done a good job playing with him and playing through him. He's been able to get some of those looks because guys have elevated their game, and when the guys around him elevate their game, the defense has to honor that. So it has made his job and his looks maybe a little bit easier because other guys have stepped up, and we got to continue that. We got to continue to build all these guys on our team so that multiple guys are playing well and playing with confidence and take the load off one another, and we got to get back to that. But as far as Dawson, I just think the consistency has really been there. He's been dialed in, and he'll continue to do that and elevate everybody else on this team.
Yeah, and in terms of his elevation, we've known he's always had the skill, but in this stretch, I don't know if I remember a Gopher player who's made shots the way he has. I mean, he has been a shot maker. Even last night in that second half, he was off early, but he was 9 of 16 again last night. I think he's 57% heading into last night in the last 5 games, but he'll take on contact. He shoots right-handed. He shoots left-handed. He can score from 3 levels. I mean, he is a shot maker right now.
Yeah, no, and I thought last night, and I'm sure, after I get a chance to really break it down with him, he probably settled a little bit early, which he hadn't done much of. But his ability to get by and make plays at the rim, I think, is what separates him. He's just got a knack for that, and he also has got a knack for just finishing kind of those running shots or those floaters, going right, going left, which makes him a really tough cover. And they got to continue to find new stuff to run for him. But again, to your point, I think he's been really efficient, and he hasn't settled too much, and he's taking his time, and he's making the open shots, he's making the right plays. Our guys are finding him, and some of it is he's just getting into the flow of our offense. There's been times he's gone on a roll, and I haven't necessarily called a play for him. He's just kind of got it within the flow of reading our motion, reading our flow type movement, which is good to see.
You talked about between last year, the offseason prior to last year, that you saw a difference in how he was conditioning himself, and he's basically playing 38, roughly 37, 38 minutes a night. I think he played the entire second half maybe last night. You used that 12-minute timeout to sneak him some extra time. How important has that part been? Just the way he's able to just to keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, no, he's really well conditioned. He's got a unbelievable motor to him, but that's a credit to him and what he's done in the off season, what he did in the preseason, what he does during the season to maintain his conditioning at such a high level. We'd like to give him those breaks when we can, but I know he's one of those few guys that can withstand kind of the 35 plus type range and still be effective. I think it's one thing if you play those minutes, but if you're not effective in the back end of those, it's tough. But I don't think his production has really dropped much as he's gotten past 35 minutes a game. So we got to continue to be smart as a staff though, and make sure we're going to get him breaks when we can. But he is one of those guys that's in that's in really good shape.
Yeah, I guess looking, it was 34 minutes roughly last night, so took him out. Maybe you did late in the game too last night, and I missed it. But anyway, he is playing at a high level and the reigning Big Ten Player of the Week. Let's take another break. We'll come back. We want to talk about that Oregon game. Certainly break that down from Saturday, and we'll look ahead to Washington. Next home game for Minnesota is this Saturday, 11 a.m. Minnesota and Washington, another newcomer to the Big Ten. We'll take care at 10:30, and there are tickets available at gophersports.com. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson from Learfield.
That there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's more Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson. Mike Grimm along with the head coach. Justin Guard is traveling today, heading out to L.A., where the Gopher women at 18-3 are taking on USC and UCLA here. USC tomorrow night, UCLA this weekend. Hey, we want to invite you to visit the University of Minnesota bookstore and discover the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel and novelties for fans of all ages, from the latest fashions to traditional favorites. It's the University of Minnesota bookstore, your one-stop shop. Visit online at bookstores.umn.edu or in person at the Memorial Union. Let's talk about that Oregon game on Saturday, because it was such a fun day at the barn. It had been a while since the Gophers were able to host a Saturday game or even play a road Saturday game. I think it was 3 straight weeks when you factor in right around Christmas that there were no weekend games. It was a Friday and then a Monday and then a Friday and then a Tuesday. And all of a sudden now you got back-to-back home games. And how much fun was that last Saturday with 13 or so, whatever it was, 1,011, well, I forget the number, but it was enough to make a lot of noise and I think factor in the outcome of the game.
Yeah, no, there was a ton of excitement in the building, ton of energy. Thought the crowd did an unbelievable job from start to finish, keeping that place juiced and giving our guys that boost that they needed throughout the whole game against a really good Oregon team. And then that environment, you can't put a price tag on that type of environment. That truly is a home court advantage. And again, we got off to a great start and just never let up. I think they only led for about 22 seconds of that game. Yeah. And really just they felt our presence both sides of the ball from start to finish. It's probably our most complete game from start to finish, both offensively and defensively. Guys did a great job with the game plan and just played really well.
Came out quickly, too, right? I think you scored. It had to be your first 7 or 8 possessions. I mean, there was even a miss in there, and it was a putback, and then you got free throws on one of the possessions, and all of a sudden it's like 26-8 before you know it. And when you start like that, and you got a crowd like that, that's that. I mean, that was it. I mean, they didn't have a shot, really, at that point. I mean, you said they led for a couple times, but you just kept answering any kind of run they made.
Yeah, no, I again, can't harp on it enough. It's just like, the tone setter that the crowd was from the beginning. If you're Oregon, you feel that and you're like, man. And then you combine with us playing well early and making shots early. It just takes so much effort for a team to climb out of that deficit on the road and then to try to flip it and win it. It is a lot. And again, that crowd was behind us. They were cheering at the right times. They kept momentum from ever flipping from our side to Oregon, which is a huge thing. If you can fight that momentum battle and win that out, that's really good and greatly increases your chances of winning. And so, we want to build on that, and we need them back out Saturday and the rest of the year because they truly, truly make a difference.
Yeah, I thought, too, the most impressive part was the way that your players took it to them. Like, if you knew basketball but weren't familiar with both teams and just sat there and watched the game, at the end of the game, you would have likely said, well, the better team just absolutely took it to the other team, and the guys were in maroon and gold, or the ranked team, and the other guys were just hanging there. And that's the mentality, right, you're talking about.
Oh, 100%. I think there was just a confidence to us. There was a pep in our step. There was no back down. You know, there was no, they weren't worried about the name on the front of the jersey and the ranking and the brand and who they were. They had confidence in what we were doing. They worried about how we were doing it and what we were doing and at what level we were doing it. I think it was truly a game, you know, about us and making sure we do everything that we've talked about and prepared to do, and there was carryover from that, which I knew there was. And you know, again, that's a step in that winning mentality direction when, you know, you respect the opponent, but you also know a big part of that is taking care of what you can control, which energy, effort, execution. And I thought those guys did a really good job of that.
We mentioned Dawson's 31. Parker had the double-double, his first as a Gopher. A couple of big dunks in there that got the crowd going as well. And then I thought it was fun to see Dawson have the exclamation point on the breakaway where he kind of poked the ball away, and I forget, was it Femi that threw it ahead? Whoever it was threw it ahead, and he was able to put the exclamation point on it. You think the way he finished the last two home games with the 40-foot winner and that dunk to you know, finish it off?
Yeah, no, and I think that was kind of a good exclamation point on the game. Just how you get the steal and you get the breakout dunk, and now the crowd even ends it on the right note. So it was a combination of just everything fell into place, but I think a majority of that was because our effort was where it needed to be, and our play hard was where it needed to be, and you get rewarded when you play hard and you do all the right necessary things. And again, I thought that ending was fitting. For Dawson to be the guy that closed it, but just the style and how we did it was kind of a summary of just how that game went from our standpoint.
There was a play I want to ask you about in the first half where the shot clock's winding down. Patterson ends up with making a three, and I think four guys had their hands on the ball in the final 3 seconds of that shot clock. It was bang, 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 and it made it. There's probably a point at which you'd prefer they get a good shot earlier in the shot clock, but how impressive was that play, the patience, and the crowd absolutely loved that play.
Yeah, and that was one of the favorite plays of the year, probably. You know, it started on that right side of the floor, and I do think four guys touched it and ended up with Lukai taking a wing three with literally almost no time on the shot clock, and it was just kind of bang, bang, bang. But they were all the right, simple plays. It was nothing crazy. It was nothing over the top. It was nothing too much. They were giving what the defense gave them and just made that next simple play. And if they weren't open, the next guy, and then the next guy, and the next guy, and then you end up getting a wide open three to a good shooter, and he buries it. I mean, those are the little intangible things that don't always show up in the box score. It just shows who made the three.
Right.
But that's conducive to winning. Just that type of ball movement, that type of precision, that type of unselfishness, that type of quality play. You know, those you got to start stacking.
Without JG here, I didn't do a long contested two, but I have a long contested two type question here. I'm not sure how you'll answer it, but what's your stance on court rushes?
You know, that's a good question. I see both sides. I see you want to reward the fans. I think the fans are the ones that love it.
They loved it, right?
They loved it. So you want to, you know, they deserve it. They sat through the whole game. They cheered it on, and there is that expectation now if you beat a ranked team, you know, to go do it. I think our guys, obviously, they grow up seeing them on TV, so it's cool for them to be a part of it. You know, to kind of have 2 in 1 week is unique, but you know, I think it's a positive thing for the student and the fan interaction, especially because again, they cheered their hearts out for that game, and you always talk about you want them to feel part of the team. Well, in those moments, I do think they're able to celebrate with the guys and their peers and be on the court, and there's just that mutual appreciation. You know, the only downfall is just you want to make sure that, you know, it gets respected the right way, that the fan-player, fan-opponent, you know, relationship doesn't cross the line in any way. And,
right.
You know, obviously player safety is number one. So that's the thing that kind of in the back of your mind, whether you're the home team or the visitor team, the losing team or the winning team, all right, what's the exit plan?
Yeah.
Is it safe? Is it successful? And making sure that everybody, you know, gets out of there unharmed.
Yeah, you see some of the videos from fans and their pure joy on their face that they got to go high-five Dawson Garcia or Parker Fox or take a selfie or whatever. I mean, that's the connection that college athletics is all about, right?
Well, and the cool thing is, you know, the pictures that I saw, were pretty classic.
Yeah.
Because the whole court was full.
Yeah.
And again, if you're one of those students that's in one of those pictures, you feel really cool because you were there and you can see yourself and you're caught in the moment and you're amongst, friends and you're celebrating. You see the kids with the FaceTime or the Snapchat or the Instagram or just the video, and our players were interacting with those guys and getting on video. And now, that's a memory they're going to be able to tell and have forever. And hopefully that experience gets them to come back to the next game.
No doubt. That was fun. I'm coming next week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially when you play, a high-level opponent. But for any game, you hope they have as much fun as they did, that it gives encouragement to come back and they say, you know what? I want to do that again. I want to feel that again. I want to have that excitement again. I want to watch a high-level game like that again, and that becomes the habit.
Did you see the picture I tweeted?
I did not.
Justin Guard rushed the court.
Really?
The co-host of the show. He's out there. Now, in fairness, his kids were begging to go out there. His kids loved it, right? They're right up by Dawson and this giant of a man, and it's amazing. But I did get Guardsy giving me the thumbs up. They'll have that's a memory that they'll have.
100%,
right?
That's a memory that they have, and I think that is the cool part. Us as adults, especially coaches, you see it from a different view, but just from the fan perspective, that's a cool moment for those guys.
Guardsy said he was texting those pictures of his kids out there to every family member. He had cousins he hadn't talked to in 10 years he's sending those pictures to, right? So that's what it's all about. Yeah, I agree. I think the court rush is great, and I'm not a fan of the folks who want to be the fun police. I think the safety issue is the biggest thing. If you can ensure safety, and how hard is that? It's probably hard, but otherwise, who's someone to judge whether you should rush the court on any day, right? I mean, let's go out and enjoy it, that's for sure, because that was an enjoyable day. All right, we've got one quick look at Washington. We'll do that when we come back. That game tips off at 11 o'clock on Saturday. We'll take air at 10:30. Tickets are available at gophersports.com. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson from Learfield.
Dear winner, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Midland Hills Country Club is well known as one of the finest golf clubs in the Twin Cities. The club has totally renovated its classic Seth Rayner design course back to its original design. Enjoy a meticulously maintained course and experience what Midland Hills Country Club has to offer. Midland Hills is conveniently located in Roseville, just 10 minutes from either downtown. A limited number of memberships are available. The club offers a great golfing experience and a comfortable social atmosphere. Visit midlandhillscc.org.
You depend on CenterPoint Energy to deliver energy for what matters most to you, your neighbors, and throughout the land of 10,000 lakes, so we can all make a better tomorrow. That's why we're investing in the latest technology to reduce emissions, offer rebates on qualifying energy-efficient natural gas equipment, and provide energy-saving programs that help save you money. Look ahead at centerpointenergy.com/futuremn.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. See Home Club for details.
As veterans,
The Fan for communications. Mike Grimm with you. JG's on the road, and the head coach Ben Johnson. All right, so we've talked about Michigan State, we've talked about Oregon, we've talked about court rushes. I don't know if there's another court rush in the future Saturday, but you've got Washington, the Huskies, another new Big Ten team in town. Brunch with the Gophers, I guess, 11 a.m. We have a 10:30 pregame. Al Nolan and I will greet you from the barn, and tickets available. We talked about how important the home crowd is. And another Saturday game. It was 3 o'clock last week. Why not come in at 11? You get the Gopher game, you cheer on Minnesota, and you still got a pretty good chunk of the day for the rest of the day. I don't mind an 11 a.m. tip.
No, what do they call that, matinee?
Yeah, a little matinee.
And again, it's an opportunity for us to get back on the right track. Again, hopefully the fans understood the impact they had on the last game, and they can have the same thing for this one. We take no opponent lightly, so it's all needed. Washington, you can take their record and throw it out the window. They play really, really hard. One of the hardest playing teams in our league. They've got a couple unfortunate breaks, games they could have easily won that just didn't go their way. And, they're on a little bit of a losing streak, but somebody that we can definitely not look past. They have a really good player in Osabor. They're a big kid who's averaging 16 in league play. And, they have a talented freshman, Zoom Diallo, who I know was a highly recruited, basketball player that's got some NBA potential, a shooter in DJ Davis that we played last year at Butler. So they've got enough pieces, and now we're going to have to bring the juice and bring the energy, and we're going to have to play really well and make sure that they don't outcompete us. But it's a good opportunity to get home, start February off the right way. It takes one to get a streak going, but we've got to focus all our energy and all our effort on our prep for them and then playing well Saturday morning.
It's a 9 a.m. game for them, right, in terms of their local biological clock. This is going to sound like a strange question, but how do you make sure guys, human nature, you look at the standings, as you said, you want to throw the record out the window, but we've won 3 of 4. This team's coming in with one Big Ten win. How do you make sure guys are on their best behavior and ready to go from the tip?
Well, hopefully Michigan State humbled us a little bit if they were feeling anything other than that. But also, I think they know, and we got to press how precious all of this is. We won 3 games, and it was fun, and it was great. You could easily flip that, and we've been on the other side where we've lost, I think it was 6 in a row to start the year. So it's such a fine line between, winning and losing, and you want to have that urgency to not go back to what we felt like during that 6-game losing streak,
right,
and play like that and execute like that. And have that just connectivity. And so I don't think it'll be too hard because we're not too far removed from feeling kind of the way they're feeling right now. And so we need to use that as an example to our guys, but also look at it as here's an opportunity, if you play well, to win 4 out of 5 and look at it from that perspective. But to do that, they got to understand it's going to be extremely hard. And I think that's the perspective we need to take of, coming home. It's a good thing. It's a positive, build off the last game, but understand we've got to play well to beat them. I mean, they're going to be foaming at the mouth, and it's a good challenge for us to have and a good opportunity to bounce back.
Their first-year coach, Danny Sprinkle, came from Utah State. He's from that region up there, or the West Coast, I guess, in general. Are you familiar with him much? You cross paths in the recruiting races and all those things?
Yeah, we've actually vacationed together a couple
of times.
Is that
right? No kidding.
Yeah, so I've known Sprinks for a long time, and little short story. He actually got, and he should have, because he played there and he had relationships, but he actually got the Montana State job over me.
No kidding.
We both were kind of the finalists for that job. But a great dude, again, known him for a long time, has really grinded his way to this point. Really successful coach at Montana State and at Utah State. He's going to do good things at Washington, and hopefully just never against us.
Yeah.
But, he's a guy that's a competitive dude, and so I know what his practices are like. I know how he is. There's nobody that wants in that program more than him. And so we got to prepare like they're going to come out swinging, and they're going to look at this as an opportunity to get back on the winning track. And so, again, we got to come out swinging. We got to impose our will. We can't necessarily worry about who we're playing. We got to get back right to how we were when we played versus Oregon.
Well, I got to ask, when Danny Sprinkle and Ben Johnson go on vacation, what's that like? And where do you go?
He's a West Coast guy. So there have been times we've kind of met up in the L.A. area.
Yeah.
He's got some friends out there. I got some friends out there, some mutual friends, and, kind of have a good time. But he's a good dude. And, again, it's just in this business, there's certain guys that you meet early on. And we were both, younger guys trying to find their way. And both kind of cut from the same cloth with how we view the business and basketball, and again, just been able to maintain kind of that friendship, and he's a guy that we cheer for anytime other than when we play each other. So
now through all those trials and tribulations in your path, coaching against him in a Big Ten game Saturday, pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think if you had asked us this probably 10 years ago, we both said, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just, kind of funny how it works out this way. But it's also at the same time a guy you really want to beat.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see him and talk to him and you don't want to lose. So I think it's probably heightened a little bit for both of us.
All right, well, let's go get it.
Let's do it.
All right, that's Saturday, 11 o'clock, Minnesota and Washington. Our thanks to the head coach. And this has been Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson.